bitch, you a bird, you thigh, you learn, you see, I earn, you stop. A word, I shoot, no rim, I'm high, you burn, I'm me, that's him, you nah, that's word.
What's up, fight fans? My name is Anik Subramanian. I'm a journalist for the Scrap News. Today, I'm here with a special guest, the man behind the most underrated Twitter account out there, PC Strickland. For those who do not know, PC Strickland is a mix of a troll and a fan page account that usually interacts with Sean Strickland. He's also the man behind a lot of the memes the former champions posts. First of all, welcome, PC Strickland. I know you share the same name as Sean, so Sean, tell me about yourself. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I was excited to get to talk. This is my first time doing an interview like this, but I'm excited to share a little bit more about myself and who I am, more than just a Twitter account, but excited to get to do this.
I was really excited about it too. I was like, okay, how can I loved your account and I was like, I'm sure people have interviewed before. I'm actually surprised that no one has. So yeah, man, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like you're usually on the phone blasting these
Yeah.
tweets, but how's life, man? What's been going on?
So I'm usually doing the Twitter stuff, but besides that, one thing that like drew me to Sean Strickland, I'm blue collar. I feel like he represents blue collar people. I've done that my whole life. Worked a bunch of odd jobs. But I feel like he really represents our people. So I've been doing that besides Twitter. I've been training mixed martial arts for the past 5 years now. So staying busy with that. But I'm a busy guy outside of just Twitter, messing with people and trying to do more things with this and just funny stuff on Twitter, maybe do some more things in the media space.
Of course, man. I think the media would love you. There's a lot of like good accounts of people who are like journalism, but also do a lot of trolling on Twitter, like Ben the Bane Davis. There's a lot of fun things that you could do, and like as a rising generation of like young journalists, man, we'd love to work with you. Your account's hilarious. But even I know I saw on the PC Strickland Twitter bio, the first thing it said was blue collar. So respect for that. I think Sean, the thing that people love most about him, even though it's a love hate, it's for some people like he connects with the common man, and even he said that. So like I want to know like what makes you such a big Sean Strickland fan?
I think to start, there's a bunch of combinations like of things that make me a Sean Strickland fan. One, it's where I grew up. I was telling you a little bit beforehand. I grew up Pennsylvania, Lehigh Valley. Larry Holmes is from here. I feel like Larry Holmes has the best jab in boxing. So if you cross like the best jab in boxing with the best jab in MMA, in my opinion, Sean Strickland. So that's one thing. He represents the blue collar man. I know he said before he's never held a job, but the way he lives his life, his lifestyle, the way he represents himself, and American born and raised. Like I've had my great great grandfather fought in the Revolutionary War, so I've been born and bred American from the start, and I think he just represents our people the best he can. Besides a person like I don't like for one, I know like when we started the interview, you were messing around saying like troll account, whatever. But like I do troll people, I mess around, but I think some accounts like take a little too far. Like they mess with fighters a little bit too much. Whereas like some fighters deserve it, obviously, but I try to keep it a little bit like if I mess with a fighter, it's like all joke and all good spirit. Like try to keep it cool. You know what I mean? Like I just try to keep it easy with these guys. Like at the end of the day, they're all fighters. They're stepping in the octagon. They're doing something that we all look up to, or like some of us want to do. A lot of us can't do. A lot of people like hide their face behind the Twitter account. I'm open to showing my face and doing these things with people. So I'm trying to keep it light with these guys because at the end of the day, like I want to have a relationship, work with a lot of these guys, do a lot of these things. And Sean, for example, is a person who represents me as a person, and I think our relationship in itself has been cool from the start. I've messed with him a little bit when he think about like 3 or 4 years ago it started with the account now.
Yeah.
And like I messed with him and right off the bat when the account started, he started like replying right away. And liking like the me messing with him and I knew like right away he was lighthearted, like the jokes and from there things like piled up, built on and it's gone from there for the past 3 years, I think it's been. Even when he's left Twitter, I kind of tried to hold it down for him.
Yeah, you definitely represented him well, and I think you have been very classy on Twitter. Most of your tweets are usually memes, kind of depicting what's going on in Sean's life, and he usually posts them on Instagram, whether it's Sean against an influencer, Sean hanging out with the former president. It's been really cool to see. And I want to know, like, so you said a couple years ago, do you remember like after which fight this Twitter account was made? Because I know I started as a fan, like I started hearing some of the stuff he said in the media after, I believe, the Allen fight. He started making some jokes, but he really turned it on after the Uriah Hall fight in the media, where he started to show the funny guy he is.
Yeah, I think I want to say after the me and my buddies were sitting around after training one day, we were just hanging out at my place, and we had South Park on, and at the same time we had Strickland highlights on the computer, and we were watching these Strickland highlights. I think it was like recent. It was like right after the Jack Marshall fight, so we were watching him like talk shit during the fight, like act crazy during the fight, and we had like an episode of South Park on where it was like PC Principal. I was like, dude, this guy talks crazy.
What the are you talking about?
Boom, let's bring it together like a PC Principal Sean Strickland account. And like from there, like we kind of did the thing where we're like talking for him, like trying to help him out, like trying to bridge the gap and make him a little bit more PC, a little bit more brand friendly. But Sean's gonna do what Sean does, and I can't really do anything about it. I just gotta support the guy. I can't support everything he says, but listen, I'm representing Sean to the day I die, that's for sure.
Exactly, and you've done a classy way of it. There's some funny accounts on Twitter, like the Khabib translator. Sometimes he'd be like smash, and then people explain that means I'm gonna beat you up. And I feel like you explain Sean's thoughts and stuff in pictures and memes. So you're the one making all these memes.
Yeah, I try to bang them out like as I do. Like I said, I work at like a full-time job, so
Yeah.
a lot of the times I'm tied down. I got gloves on, sweaty, got a lot of like I make glue right now, so glue all over me at the time. So it's a lot of times it's hard for me to get on my phone, but whenever I can and I got Sean's tweets pulled up, I try to bang out a quick meme, get everybody laughing, get everybody going, and I think he likes it too because he threw a couple up on his Instagram the other day or on his Twitter, so I think it gets him going as well.
I saw him. I'm like, dude, that's my guy, PC Strickland. I was like, I'm seeing all these things on Instagram, and I'm like, Sean didn't make this, but the other Sean did. And I think it's cool. You kind of represent what Sean is all about working hard, but also having fun with life. And I think you've done that really well. Now you finally got to meet him at UFC 297 before his fight. You went all the way up to Toronto. And what emotions did you feel when you met him, and what was that like?
It was weird. Like, me and him have communicated before, like I said in the past. We've spoken, messed around, and like I've cleared it up to him before because I've always wanted to make sure he was cool with the tweet. So we've
Yeah.
spoken in the past and stuff, but meeting in person, it was like kind of like meeting somebody you've talked to before, especially messing around with him for the past like three or so years. It's almost like we get each other's sense of humor and stuff. So when we met, it was a nice little few minute experience because it was right after his weigh-in day. It's a
Yeah.
ceremonial weigh-in, so I knew he wanted to get refueled, get ready for the fight the next day. It was late at night, so it was nice he took the time out, spent some time, said a nice few words to my girlfriend, was real polite. So it was cool. It was cool to see Sean down to earth getting ready before his fight, but it was awesome. It was a really cool experience, and it's honestly a trip I'll never forget for that reason. It was really cool.
100%. I think a lot of us were following your account after you met him, especially like you're watching. It was a close fight. And I want to know like what was Sean like as a person? Was he as advertised the way we expect him to be? He's obviously very respectful, a real dude. But like what was it like? Was there like an aura around him? Was his team around him?
Don definitely has an aura around him. When he walks into the building, he has people following him right now. And like honestly, I think that's something that Sean's always had coming to him. I mean, like I said, watching him from the Jack Marshall fight, I don't think he didn't have the stardom that he has now, but I think it was always there to begin with. And now it's really cool like being there and watching everything come together. It was like cool like coming together moment because I was like it was almost like when we met each other, like we dapped each other up. Everything was really cool and smiles all around. Like he pulled out his phone right away and started pulling out the video. So it was like it's really cool to see somebody like that have that type of aura, but then still be able to like be down to earth and mess with me, even though I have a stupid Twitter account sometimes may be what it seems like. So it was really cool that he enjoyed meeting me almost as much as I enjoyed meeting him. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's very special, and that's what the people love about him. He has not changed from that, I believe, Jack Marshman fight 2020, and then
Yep.
till he won the belt. Even then, he hasn't changed who he is, and that's what the fans love about him. Now his walkout when Johnny comes marching home after he beat Adesanya, I had that song playing nonstop for a week. What was his walkout like in person? Because it's something I want to experience one day.
I think it was awesome, and especially like this was my first time. I've been to a few fight cards now, but this was my first one being out of the country, and especially as like a United States citizen, it was cool to see kind of like them get the American Sean Strickland experience in Canada, because it's like something. It kind of seemed foreign to them when they seen Johnny Come Marching home. Saw a couple people like shocked, maybe they weren't familiar to Sean, so that was like oh, this is a they were like, "Oh, this is different." So it was pretty cool to see that happen live, and it definitely gave me goosebumps. You can see him fired up, walking down, pulling off the jacket before he walks into the octagon and stuff. It had me ready to go. I was ready to start popping jabs out there, and
Right?
you know how it goes. Yeah, I was ready. There's a couple of Dricus guys behind me. I was ready to, you know how it goes.
Yeah,
Tell them the scorecards what it really was.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask about the fight. It was a close fight in my opinion. I had it 3-2 Sean. I don't think it was a robbery. I thought it was close, but I want to know, what did you think of the fight? Which rounds do you think Sean won?
I think Sean, in my opinion, being there in person, I haven't gotten to watch the fight back. I watched it in person one time, and I've obviously seen the reviews, seen highlights of the fight, but from my experience being there in person, all honestly, people are going to hate on me for this, and people are going to say I'm biased, but truly, I think Sean won round 1, 2, 3, not 4, and he won the 5th round. I'll tell you why he won those rounds. I don't think the takedowns in any of those rounds where the takedowns did come, maybe 1 or 2 were significant enough to count as legit takedown. There was nothing to do after the takedowns, no ground and pound, no submission attempts, no work through the takedowns. It was right down, right back up. The Dricus was landing that I was seeing, even on highlights where they knocked Sean around, they were landing on Sean's guard, it looked like. They were coming off of him, nothing really flush, a lot of shoulder rolls, a lot off of his guard. I saw a couple body shots, not to Sean's liver side, a lot to his right side that were getting through. But there I will say there was a couple significant strikes that did get through. But I'm watching Sean the whole time, and maybe I'm being biased, maybe not. Like, I'll be honest with myself, but I was watching a person jabbing up Dricus, and I think after the fight, people can see through the damage and what a person looks like, who was really landing the punches. And I think people are going to really see that as fights move forward, that Sean's not as bad as they think he is. Sean's the truth, and Sean will be back. I think he's going to hang around right at the top of the division. If you knock him off, he'll be back. He'll win 2 more. If you knock him down once, he'll win 2 again. That's how he's going to be. I think that's how he's always going to be.
I totally agree. I think he's got the best cardio in the division, no question about it. The best jab in the game, potentially. Now, I want to know, who do you think, because I thought that fight was really close. It reminds me of the Valentina Shevchenko Tyler Santos fight. Tyler got some
Yeah.
takedowns, but maybe they won the equal amount of exchanges or whatever. But like, I think to beat the champ, you got to take it from the champ. I thought Dricus had some good moments. I had it Sean 3-2, and I had it 1-2 and 5 Sean, but I thought 3 could have been, 3 was up in the air as well, because I thought the takedowns didn't do anything. And a lot of the people said that Dricus controlled the pace in the middle of the fight, but like when you're throwing big shots and not many are landing. But I guess, like Eric Nixick said, optics, right? So what we saw is coming off of his guard. Maybe the judges saw it differently. But yeah, now who do you think should be next for Sean? I mean, you got Whitaker Costa fighting. You have Izzy, Dricus, number 11 ranked Hamzat. Like, who do you think should be next for Sean?
I honestly think any fight works for Sean right now. I think what makes the most sense to me, obviously, is getting him the rematch, giving him the title shot again. But I don't think a guy like Adesanya should be fighting for the title right away. I think he should have a route back through Sean Strickland. I think that would make more sense than having Adesanya fight for the title right away. I know they had that beef in the octagon, but after getting starched by Sean Strickland, I think he doesn't have a route to do Duplessis. I think he has to go back through Sean Strickland. And I also think maybe a guy like the Costa or Whitaker fight, that has to go through Sean Strickland as well. I think there's a lot of plays in this division that have to go through Sean Strickland. And there's a lot of guys in the division who want to fight Sean Strickland now because they know he's a star. I think he's one of the biggest cash crops in the UFC right now. And I think a lot of people are realizing that. And I think that's why you're seeing his name brought up as much as it is. You're seeing these Twitter accounts spring up all over the place. You're seeing all these, almost every video I clicked on a few of these big YouTubers videos today, and it's almost like they have to mention Sean Strickland's name now in the beginning of their videos, even though the video has nothing to do with it. It's like just to make sure people are like, okay, here's Sean Strickland. And I respect it. I mean, like I said, he's getting the respect he finally deserves now, but I think a lot of fights in that division can go right back through Sean Strickland.
I totally agree. I think whether it's a rematch with Dricus or it's a number one contender fight, I also forgot to mention Jared Cannonier. That's another fight, which I
Yeah.
think it was a close fight. I think one thing Sean's got to work on is the optics against power punchers, because even if he's winning those exchanges, he's got to make it look like that to the three judges sitting ringside. So yeah, I totally agree. I think he's got a lot of options, and I'm glad he's going to win the money and stuff. And like he said, he's going to live his same life. Just going to have he's got a new house now. He's got a Tesla. I think that happened after the podcast with Theo Vaughn, which we're gonna allow him to have. But he's very genuine, and that's why we appreciate that. Now, I want to know, like in terms of Sean, like when you said you train martial arts, right? What
Yes.
type of fighter do you resemble, like style wise? Is it Sean Strickland? Is it another fighter? Just curious.
No, I don't think I try to emulate any style of fighter. I've trained boxing and kickboxing more so. I'd have very little wrestling and jiu-jitsu experience, a lot of stand-up experience. But if I had to emulate any fight, I mean, I learn a lot from watching a guy like Sean, or watching a lot of these boxers, or watching Alex Pereira. Bladed stances, I'm a little more bladed, so anybody with like a bladed stance I tend to watch a little bit more of. But there's a lot of things I can learn from Sean, where he's standing a little bit more upright, Philly shell, rolling back. There's a lot of styles, like especially it's all about like when you're getting into different ranges. You can use different styles and it works differently. So I mean, I pick up little things from each and every fighter, but I don't think I can compare myself stylistically to anybody. But since we're talking about it, I know there's a lot of goofballs on MMA Twitter that want to do MMA Twitter fights, rough and rowdy especially. If anybody wants to get in there, 145 to 155. I want to make that clear.
I like that. I like that. Volk's weight classes, man. He showed up with the old man costume to the press conference today. I think speaking of Alex Pereira, right? You mentioned him. He
Yeah.
also met you and whispered in your ear, Shama. What other superstars did you meet at UFC 297?
I met a few. I met Chris Curtis was really cool. I got a chance to meet Chris Curtis. I would have posted up a picture with Chris, but he came back on Twitter right after 297. But Chris was super cool, super down to earth. Also another really awesome human being, and that was one, being in Canada was really cool to see, because he was fighting a Canadian, and it was kind of cool being like in enemy territory and watching him go to work, and watching him box and stand up for 3 rounds and land those liver shots like he was. His boxing is awesome to watch, and his stand up. I'm a big fan of Chris.
I love that, man. That's the best bromance in MMA right now. I truly believe it, because it's as genuine, and even these guys admitted they fight each other because they fight for free every day at Extreme Couture and the PI. So good on them. Now I'll ask you a couple more questions, right? UFC 293, when Sean beat Izzy, what was it like? Because for me, I was in tears of joy. Like, I'm a journalist. Most of us in the media space, we all have to work other jobs because it's just a hobby right now. But I was in tears when Sean won, and that's with nothing but respect to Izzy. What was your reaction when Sean knocked him down, and then once that belt was wrapped around his waist?
I don't think there's any reactions really to describe it. I mean, there's a couple times in my life where I've experienced a couple of my favorite teams winning sporting events, but yeah, I wasn't linked to any of my those teams. Being able to communicate with Sean for a while and talk to him and stuff, it's kind of different now watching Sean's fights. I mean, after being with my girlfriend at 297, meeting Sean beforehand and then being at the fight, I'm like telling my girlfriend, I'm like, this is weird watching this fight, because it's kind of like you have an encounter with this guy beforehand, and now I'm watching this fight. It's like a little bit more tied to the fights than usual. So it was more nerve wracking. And then when I saw him drop him, I was floored from the time he dropped him for the rest of the fight, just standing up, chanting at the TV, ready to go. That one would have been cool to be at, but Australia, man, I hate flying, so Australia would have been a tough one to go to.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. That's gonna be like 3 flights. That was a
Yeah.
special moment, man. I'm gonna end this with 2 more questions. Before the
Yeah.
interview, you mentioned having interest in the media space as like a hobby or a side thing. A lot of us, we do have to work day jobs along with this, but we're all in it because we love it. What type of media are you interested in? Is it like content creation, like making the memes, making video edits, like writing, interviewing fighters? What would you be interested in? Just put a shameless plug out there for you.
So yeah, before media, if I can give a little bit of background, like I started off, like I said, doing a bunch of odd jobs. I mean, right out of high school, I worked for a AAA baseball team, pretty big team doing good stuff, but I went in doing on-field camera work, interviewing fans, doing games and stuff. And I got thrown into the role of like I was the type of guy to always accept jobs whenever somebody asked me to accept a job. So the mascot ends up having a kid. They were like, "Yo, Sean, do you want to hop in the mascot costume?" I ended up doing like 4 years as a mascot. Hated the job, but like I'll do anything. Man on the street stuff, interviewing fans, um, breaking down fights. I could break down a whole fight card with anybody. If you guys want to do bet picks, I don't bet, but I can help anybody bet. Um, it's really anything MMA based. I've been at it for a long time now, following this sport, and I think I can roll with the best of them, throw punches with the best of them, and I think there's a lot of things to come from PC Strickland and PC MMA is what it's going to come down to. So if anybody wants to work, I'm here to work and ready to go.
I love that. Now, I want to ask, which minor league baseball team is this? The Scranton Wilkes-Barre team, or?
No, this is the Philadelphia Phillies team. So I don't know if I'm ever going to be working for them again saying this, but I figured I put it out there and let everybody know. It was fun to work for them and stuff, but like doing that, man, messing around in that hot costume, and I wasn't like I'm not the biggest like messing around and like doing that stuff, but like I said, I do martial arts. I was like sweatsuit, mess around, dance around. I was like, this can't be too bad, but when you have kids running up to you and stuff, cut it out. I was like, I'm out of here. So
Yeah. Fair enough. Hey, you still did it and survived for so long. I was curious because the Yankees have you're wearing a Yankees hat right now. That was the first thing I noticed when Sean posted that video. I'm a diehard Yankees fan here. So I
yeah,
saw that. I'm like, is this for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre? Like they're, I believe, AAA associate. But yeah, good to know. I've been to the Philly Stadium. It's quite Philly fans are rowdy, man. But it's fun for sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna end this off one more question. Could I get a message for your fans, the PC Strickland fans, and the Sean Strickland fans out there?
Yeah, I want to say let's keep rolling. Let's keep pushing the narrative that we won this fight because we did win the fight. Let's keep pushing for the title shots, big fights. Let's keep rooting for our boy Sean Strickland all day. Keep following PC Strickland MMA. Keep following my tweets. Keep following Sean's tweets. Keep following your tweets. So we're coming for the top, all of us. Everybody, every single one of us. Keep watching.
Thank you so much, PC Strickland. I really appreciate it. Not only a great Twitter account, but such a great guy to talk to. So we at the Scrap News, we really appreciate it, man. And hey, you ever want to have Sean here, bring him on. We'd love it.
Let's do it. All right, man. I appreciate you. Thank you again. It means a lot.
All right, thank you so much, bro.